All right, everybody, thanks again for coming this afternoon, Friday afternoons. We've got Friday's Heroes and Employee of the Week today, and I believe we have another ESA award that we're doing today as well, which is an example of city employees that are saving taxpayer dollars. So it's all good news. So this past summer, Officers Marcus Espinosa, Homero Alvarez were sent to check out an area where a dark sedan was seen driving erratically through a neighborhood and hitting mailboxes. Understandably, the reckless behavior and careless actions of those two suspects was causing damage to the community and making the neighbors very uneasy. When the officers got to the neighborhood, they noticed a blue Honda Acura that matched the description of a stolen vehicle that they had heard about over the radio. So Officer Homero noticed a male and female standing in front of the car. He shined his spotlight to the couple to see what they were doing, and immediately the man took off running, leaving the woman next to the car. The woman listened to requests from officers and was arrested after they spoke to her. So then, it's a long story. APD Team 7 immediately set up a perimeter around the area to search for the other suspect, and eventually the officers of Team 7 were able to track down the man and arrest him. So that is something that happens on a daily basis in the city of Albuquerque. We have officers going out and doing fantastic work. Further investigation by the team's detective Matthew Morales led to evidence that the thieving duo was responsible for at least 7 auto thefts in the Foothills area. And it's important that these officers all work together to get the suspects off the streets, and that they were able to connect all of the pieces to determine the history causing of these offenders for property crime in this neighborhood. And this is something we see rather frequently. We see repeat activity by offenders. We see people going out into our neighborhoods, into our stores, committing crimes over and over and over again. And anytime that we can take a prolific theft ring off the streets through great work by street officers, by detectives, it's a good day for Albuquerque. So with that, I'm going to have Chief Schultz give you a few more details on the situation, and we'll do our presentation of our coins.
Well, thank you, Mayor. And this is, as the Mayor said, a great example of teamwork. Teamwork by the officers from the Foothills Area Command, and if you've noticed, I think this is the 3rd week in a row we've had Foothills Area officers up here, and it's a great area of the city. It's great teamwork that we see occur on all shifts each day of the week. This particular case obviously involved an auto theft, but with the auto theft comes bringing in experienced help and detectives. So the field officers, after they're able to get the offenders in custody, asked the auto theft to bring specialists up, and that's where Officer Morales comes in. And he was able to link these offenders to 7 other auto thefts. And as we said before, it's usually 1 or 2 offenders that are committing most of the crimes, and to be able to link them back to all the crimes that they've committed and hold them responsible for those, one, results in a better sentencing, but it also provides closure to those families that have had, in this case, their vehicles stolen. So I want to thank the officers from the field for a great response, being proactive, setting up and coordinating that perimeter, making sure that the offender didn't get away or cause other injury or harm to the neighborhood, and then working everything together and holding these folks accountable for their crimes. So great work. Appreciate it. Good job.
Gentlemen, we have our Friday's Heroes coins for you today. We appreciate your efforts very much, and we know that there's a lot to do out there. And you know, the city. We met today with some of our progress indicator team, and that's a process that we go through to talk about the pulse of the community, what people in our community, how they feel about being safe, how they feel about the city as a whole in a lot of different areas. And I can tell you, we talk to people on a regular basis that really feel safe on the streets of Albuquerque. You're doing a great job, and you know, I've had my car stolen before, and that's not a great experience for people. So we appreciate all that you're doing out there and your diligence, and thanks for taking a theft ring off the streets. We appreciate you very much. Thanks so much. Well, let's bring up our Employee of the Week for the week, and stick around. We'll do pictures here in a little bit. So today, our Employee of the Week is Marvin Pohl, who's with us. He's here with Robin Otten, who's our Director of Family and Community Services. And Marvin is a supervisor at the Taylor Ranch Community Center. He's accredited for going above and beyond by giving up 2 evenings each weekend in the month of October to help some neighborhood kids. And what they did is they put together a Halloween celebration. He's been doing this for the last several years, and the Taylor Ranch Community Center didn't have the budget to pay employees for their time to help with these kids' haunted house this year. However, Martin inspired individuals and his co-workers to donate their time and energy to create a memorable experience for the children in their community. Not only did Marvin and his team perform in the haunted house every weekend, I gotta mention that was interesting, but they helped set up and tear it down as well. The tremendous amount of work that was taken on shows some real dedication to our community and to our local youth. Not only was this a treat for the kids, but it also serves as a positive outlet for youth during a sometimes mischievous holiday. The haunted house at Taylor Ranch Community Center was executed with a level of professionalism and creativity that could not have been possible without Marvin's energy, his help, and his dedication. So for him, he sacrificed his personal time, worked with the children in the community and the families in the city of Albuquerque, and really made, probably put a lot of smiles on, probably put some scared faces on first and then some smiles after that. So we'll let Robin Otten come up and say a few more words about Marvin and the work that he does.
Thank you, Mayor Barry. Marvin, I'm just really proud to work with you. I met Marvin when I first came to the city because he is infamous for sharing his talents of whatever kind. The haunted house at Taylor Ranch is just one of those examples. And what that entails, you really alluded to it a little bit, it means that you have to put together this whole thing every weekend and then tear it down before the kids come in on Monday. So it's a huge number of hours, and the children of the neighborhood and actually all over the city really look forward to it every year. So thank you so much for doing that. In addition to that, when we have employee celebrations, Marvin brings the music and makes sure that it's a festive occasion, and he does all these things that are way beyond his job, and we really appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Marvin. Oops, I'm sorry. And I think what you find with our employees a lot of times, when you have employees as we have that go above and beyond the call of duty, if you will, it's not a one-time thing. And as Robin alluded to, this is one thing you did, but we know that you do a lot of other things in our community. So we'd like you to have an Employee of the Week mug, and we'd also like you, Marvin, to have Employee of the Week certificate and a letter for your personnel file. So, you know, thanks for caring. And these community centers we have in the city of Albuquerque, you know, they're life changers for our community. Whether they're our senior centers, our community centers, our multi-generational centers, they're really a link between neighbors, between friends and family in the city. So thanks for being a great part of that. We appreciate you very much. Thank you. And last but not least, today we have another ESA award. So I'll let Andre and the team come up here, and we'll talk about this here for just a minute. How are you?
I'm good.
Good to see you. So Andre O'Brien is the latest recipient of our Efficiency, Stewardship, and Accountability Award, which, if you remember, right at the beginning of the administration, we set up what was called ESA, which is Efficiency, Stewardship, and Accountability. And that is a way for us to incentivize our employees to go out and look for waste, but also to be innovative and look for areas where we can just do things a little bit better. Because if we can make a change now that reflects savings not just this year, but also next year and the year after, these things really matter. And this is another example of that. So Andre spearheaded a project that saved the city of Albuquerque and our data center approximately $27,000 a year in energy expenses. This was done by making several small changes to create a large impact on the energy use of the data center. His team turned off high-powered lights to reduce overall power consumption when they were not needed, saving about $3,000. And then they took several steps to increase airflow in the data center, which also created cost savings, and this has contributed to the majority of the savings doing this air change in these rooms. Andre and his team rearranged all of the equipment and furniture that had been problematic and had been blocking airflow through the servers, and they also recognized the reorganized cables to provide a more efficient layout in the room. And lastly, the team got creative when they found that all the stored paper was creating this white dust, which was blocking their airflow lines and keeping the room from staying cool. And as if those efficiency measures weren't enough, Andre and his team took one step further by virtualizing more than 50 servers into 4 servers, therefore reducing power consumption and cooling needs, which also means that we don't need as many servers as well. So this is a perfect example of employees just simply looking around their environment and saying, you know what, we can do this a little bit better. And it's just amazing with an organization of our size, how many employees we have and all the things that we do in the city of Albuquerque. If we just, start looking at these efficiency measures, I think we're now up to $14 million, I believe, in either recurring or one-time savings that our employees have put into place just in the last 3 years. It's just absolutely amazing to me as a mayor. So these moves, along with several others, are what led to this data center savings of $27,000 a year in energy expenses. So, you guys want to say anything at all? Or come on up. Come on up.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate Andre and also some of our other IT managers that we have in the room today for really taking the initiative to identify opportunities for optimizing energy within our data center. And we've done such a good job that with intergovernmental agencies like the county and the water authority actually wanting to come into our data center as opposed to going out and creating their own. And so we're reducing the carbon footprint that's occurring with server maintenance and management. And I think that certainly the virtualization project, which is currently in process, and we're going to do more of that, is a good example of how we're really containing our costs and creating efficiencies for the future. So I just want to thank you, Andre, and the rest of the team for continuing to look for these opportunities.
Good job.
So, thanks.
And as you know, we give rewards for ESA. We want to make sure people are incentivized. So the reward process works like this: it's 1% of the total savings, or up to $1,000. So today we have a check for $270 that Andre can take back to his department, and they can do whatever they want with it. They can have a celebration of their teamwork. They can buy pieces of equipment. They can do whatever they feel like doing with it. And we just think it's a good way to reward our employees who are going out there every day and doing great stuff. So thanks again for being here, and thanks everybody for coming today. I'll sign it here in just a minute. But thanks everybody for coming today. Thank you to our officers, to the Albuquerque Police Department. Thanks to everybody at Family and Community and all our community centers, and all the guys that all the smart guys at IT and all the work that they do with our data centers, because there's a lot of data flying around here, and these guys do a great job. So thanks again for coming. Have a great weekend.